Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video, where you'll be the judge for the stories we bring for you. First case. Am I the bad person for exposing my parents when they forgot about me on their wedding? I know this seems like a weird situation, but I just feel so angry and depressed that I feel the need to vent even if no one is listening. So I, 17F, was recently forgotten about on the day of my parents' wedding. My parents have been together for about 25 years, but they never actually got married. That's why when my dad, 50M, proposed to my mother, 49F, on their anniversary, which they have always celebrated on the date my mother found out she was pregnant with my eldest sister, even tough, they were already together before. Everyone, including me, was elated and celebrated the occasion with great joy. This happened all the way back in February. They immediately jumped into wedding planning, deciding very early on a small event in Hawaii with just the closest family and friends for an intimate ceremony. Almost immediately, my mother asked my sister, 25F, to be her maid of honor, and my dad asked my brother, 22M, to be his groomsman. I wasn't surprised or offended by this. My sister had always been a mommy's girl, and they both enjoyed spending time with each other, shopping and socializing, so they had a very close bond, and the same goes for my father and brother. They always played football together and messed around with cars. My father even trained my brother's team for a while in middle school. That had always left me as the odd one out. I tried to insert myself on my family's hobbies and groups that they had within our home, but was always rebuffed. Maybe they could sense that my interest on their activities wasn't all that genuine, or maybe they just didn't care. Either way, I was used to being the last and least important member of my family. Mom had sis and dad had bro. My parents had each other, and my two siblings were closer to each other than they ever were to me, leaving me very lonely and isolated in my own home. During the preparation for the wedding initially, it was suggested that I be the flower girl, but my sister thought that role would be more appropriate for her daughter, 3F, so that idea was quickly tossed away. Later on, my maternal grandmother suggested that I might read a poem or do a little bit of a speech during the ceremony, but both my parents refused because they wanted the wedding to be low-key, and they didn't think a cheesy and sappy speech would fit their vision. Their literal words. I was still okay with all of this, even though it hurt to know I would be the only member of the family to not actually be part of the wedding party or have any role at all on the day. As the day approached, my parents and siblings got more and more caught up on all the wedding planning. I noticed my mom didn't invite me dress shopping, and that whenever they would have discussions about the venue or the event, I was left out, so I decided to see if they would realize that I wasn't being involved at all, and kept quiet, waiting for them to ask me something, anything, about the wedding, but that never happened. The wedding was set for 3 weeks ago, the end of August. The day before the departure, my mother casually asked if I had my luggage ready, because we couldn't be late to the airport. I bluntly told her that I hadn't prepared anything. She got confused for a second, and then snapped at me for not being prepared. I then asked her if I even had a ticket, and her face went pale. Yep, they hadn't even bought me a ticket, and I'm not even sure if I had a room or any accommodations once there. Even though I was the only person in my family without a stable income, I work as a part-time babysitter. My parents had bought first-class tickets for my siblings and a couple other friends that were attending the wedding but had forgotten me. My mom told me not to make a big deal out of it, and that they can just find me a low-cost ticket last minute from a cheap airline. But I just replied by asking her, then what? Do I even have a dress for the ceremony? She went with sis to buy hers and all the other female guests months ago, but I wasn't included. That's when my father came in and just told me to suck it up, and that I've never been a girly girl, so I could just wear whatever. I got mad at this because, even though I'm not the most feminine girl on the planet, I would have loved to be included in such an important part of my parents' wedding. And it was about the fact that I was excluded for literally everything that had been going on for months. We all got into a fight with them, calling me entitled and accusing me of making myself small intentionally so they would forget me. Like that is a valid excuse for ignoring a child. They ended up telling me that if I was going to keep this attitude, I might as well skip the whole thing altogether, to which I responded with a defiant fine and went to my room. Next morning, they all left for Hawaii without me. The ceremony was really small, but they all posted loads of pictures on Insta and Facebook about how perfect and magical that whole week was being. People realized quickly that I wasn't in any of the photos, and asked my parents why, to which they replied that unfortunately I had caught COVID before the trip and had to stay behind. My blood boiled at this. I don't know why this was the straw that broke the camel back for me, but it was. I decided to take a COVID test and published a picture of myself holding the negative test and captioned it, "Not sick at all, just forgotten." I tagged everyone that had questioned my absence from the trip and the wedding in the picture, and for good measure, also every person invited to it. I also wrote in the comments about how my parents had literally forgotten about anything to do with me until the day before parting, and how they actually uninvited me. Most people were on my side and others couldn't believe it and thought there must be something more to the story than what I was saying. But one thing is for certain, I completely ruined my parents' wedding, and their day was overshadowed by my confession. At first I felt quite satisfied with myself for standing up on my own, but after a barrage of messages from my family calling me every name in the book, and later, when they came back, them furiously attacking me for my immature actions and my spoiled behavior, my pride deflated quickly, and I began to feel awful. I hate my family, and I hate being in this house, but I'm a minor and can't leave just yet. I do feel like I could have handled the situation better though, and now I feel so depressed that I'm second-guessing everything I did, from not speaking up before to the way I exposed them. I also feel guilty for the lack of connection between all of my family and me, and maybe I could have done more. So AITA for ruining my parents' wedding when they forgot about me. Let's take a look at what some members say. A member said, "Duh, when you turn 18, leave, and don't look back. Go no contact. Because honestly, even though your mom asked your older sister to be MOH, you could have also been a bridesmaid. My own mother, who I haven't always had a good relationship, got married to my stepdad in 2021, and they've been together since I was 6, and I'm currently 29. My mom had both me and my sister as bridesmaids, and my stepdad had his son as a groomsman. They could have included you, but purposely chose not to. It's fucked up, and they deserve to be called out publicly." Some other members stated, "My mom was the black sheep. My grandparents couldn't afford first-class plane tickets or trips to Hawaii, but my grandma and her other kids have found many other ways to exclude my mom her entire 64 years, blame her for everyone else's screw-ups, and treat her like absolute crap. Her siblings have even found a way to dump my grandma on her by moving out of state, and because crapping on my mom wasn't good enough, they all decided to treat me and my siblings like black sheep too. This is going to sound really horrible, but I was enraged 2 years ago when my dad died, and that witch got to continue breathing. I have said so many times that it should have been her. Said the same thing when my grandpa died 25 years ago. It should have been her. How she has outlived both of them is a mystery to me. Evil must be the fountain of youth. I hate that OP is experiencing similar with her parents and siblings. It's inexcusable." Someone else remarked, "NTA. Guess you're the 0.5 in the perfect family of 2.5 kids. God, I feel so sad for you just reading this. For you to ruin anything, you'd have to at least be included. You couldn't make yourself smaller because you were already invisible to them. You're still a minor child, and it absolutely was their responsibility to get you a ticket, dress shop, get a hotel, and give you a role in their wedding. Instead, they made sure you knew you were unwanted. And they aren't even sorry. They just blamed you instead of fixing their mistake. I don't blame you for blasting them. They're just mad people know what they did. You lifted the curtain on their little stage show. Fuck them. I would make plans to get out of there the day you turn 18, if they're footing the bill for college. Don't shoot yourself in the foot there if it can be helped. But I'd make myself absent as often as possible. If you don't need them for college, GTFO, and make your own family, who will love you for the wonderful person you are. And don't look back. Tell them you'll get out of the way of their perfect family." Final comment from another member. "NTA. The very fact that they did not buy you a plane ticket was perfect. I would have shown up to the airport with them, and at the check-in, what? You bought everyone in the family a first-class ticket, and I'm not even strapped to the wing? Then turn and leave. Okay. First, I'm really so sorry you are dealing with this. I am a father and raised my 2 daughters as a single parent. I give my life for them. Reading your story brought me to tears. It was greatly upsetting to hear your own parents shun you for your relatives that were calling you names. If you reply, just say, 'Hey,' if you want to hate on me. That's up to you. But my parents bought everyone on my family and some non-family guests first-class tickets. And they did not remember to buy me, their very own daughter, a ticket. Then my father told me not to bother coming. They lied to everyone why I was not there, saying I had COVID. This is on them, not me. So hate on me all you wish. It only tells me what kind of person you are. I have my dignity and self-respect. Something like that. Next, you need to have a job, stay in school, and concentrate on your best grades. Not for your parents to be proud of you, although they should be, but for you and your future. Then graduate with the highest grades you can to spite your parents. Then with your job, save every fucking dime. So when you're 18, high noon, or at 8 o'clock a.m. on your birthday, you move out and sign your first lease on your first apartment. Be real fucking smart about this. Read and understand tenants' rights on your local state's AG.government site. Print it out and read it. It will make your new apartment renting easier and clear, so you don't run into problems. Lastly, your parents owe you a huge apology. It may not happen, but now a new page is turned. You're writing the next chapter of your life. It's time to be strong. Hang out with good people. Not just those that sympathize with you, but those you can learn your next career from. You got this. What do the members of the jury think? Is he the AH in this story? Express your verdict down in the comments section. The top comment will be posted on next week's video. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. In life, we may run, but we can't hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.